Welcome to Stories and Lessons. My name is Amy Ebert. I'm your host for today's podcast. Welcome back to the series, All Things Leadership. For those of you who tuned into WrestleMania 40 not too long ago, you know the electric moment when The Undertaker made his surprise entrance. The Rock and Cody Rhodes are having a throwdown. You hear the iconic bell toll. People start freaking out with excitement. Then the whole place goes dark. Another bell toll. Lights go on, and Undertaker has arrived to take down The Rock. The whole place erupted. My son, we were watching from the house. He went on for like a good 8 minutes straight. Oh my gosh, it's Undertaker! Just freaking out. He was hoping to see him, and luckily he showed up. So, hashtag SmackDown is always the #1 trending hashtag on Twitter every Friday night. They might be onto something. Today we're taking a detour from the boardroom and heading straight to the squared circle. That's right. We're talking professional wrestling and specifically the legendary Deadman, The Undertaker. Now, before you raise an eyebrow, hear me out. Underneath the dark attire and spooky entrance lies a man who embodied leadership in a unique and powerful way. The Undertaker's journey to leadership wasn't handed to him. It was forged in the fires of perseverance. He arrived in the then WWF, now WWE, in 1990. A fresh face with a giant frame and a passion for wrestling. He was already an athlete, had an opportunity to play professional basketball in Europe, had been wrestling in other capacities, but there was no grand entrance, no iconic character just waiting for him to portray. He spent weeks, maybe even months, I think it was at least like 7 weeks, cooling his heels in the waiting room. Day after day, going in, week after week, he would show up, sit in the waiting room every day for weeks, show up without getting seen. This wasn't the glamorous world of superstardom one might envision. Yet, Mark Calaway, who's the man behind The Undertaker, never faltered. Determination etched in his face. He didn't complain. He didn't get discouraged. I imagine he's looking around the office, looking around the place, looking around what's now the WWE, and he started to envision his career. What's possible? He trained relentlessly, honing his skills in the ring whenever the opportunity arose. This unwavering dedication caught the eye of the young wrestlers and veterans alike. Here was a guy who wasn't just talented, but also possessed a work ethic that couldn't be denied. Finally, his chance arrived. Vince McMahon, the chairman of WWE, saw the potential simmering beneath the surface. He saw the dedication, the athleticism, and the quiet leadership that Calaway exuded. Week after week, Calaway delivered solid performances in various characters pre-Undertaker. Never asking for the spotlight, but always impressing with his in-ring work. Prior to The Undertaker, he had other gimmicks or characters that were good, but nothing nearly as iconic as who we all know him as today. The turning point happened one day when McMahon simply called Calaway over the phone after a down period in between characters. No fanfare, no long speeches. McMahon simply asked, "Is this The Undertaker?" I hear it now. You guys hear it? You hear the bell toll after that one? I do. They certainly did. That question wasn't just about a character. It was a recognition of the leader Calaway had become within himself. It was a chance to step out of the shadows and become a legend. The Undertaker character debuted shortly after. He wasn't just a phenomenal wrestler. He commanded respect from everyone in the locker room. Wrestlers like Stone Cold Steve Austin have called him a natural-born leader. But Undertaker's leadership was subtle, based on actions rather than words, and a 6'10" frame and 299 pounds. Undertaker wasn't just setting an example, he was also a problem solver. Bret Hart, who's another WWE legend, spoke about how Undertaker took on the mantle of the locker room anchor, mediating disputes, advocating for fellow wrestlers, and keeping the peace behind the scenes. Recently, we saw Mark Calaway, I can't even call him Mark Calaway, it's very hard, just The Undertaker, right? On Joe Rogan, and in another documentary as well. He said that only recently does he show up as Mark Calaway for his near 30-year or more than 30-year stint as regularly as Undertaker. He always wanted to keep the mystique alive for fans, so he didn't do much press, if any at all, under anything other than Undertaker for that entire period. just to keep the fun alive for the fans. The Undertaker's leadership wasn't about dominance. It was about respect. He earned it through his dedication, professionalism, and willingness to look out for others. This respect transcends generations of wrestlers. Other huge stars in the company, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, acknowledge Undertaker's leadership. This is because his leadership wasn't just about personal gain, it was about making the entire WWE a better place, and he respects other wrestlers' contribution to the development of the brand and the sport, even though there are probably some who he could really dish about. So the next time doubt creeps in, you're feeling the pressure and you question whether to make that extra call, lead the presentation, or chase that ambitious goal. Remember, The Undertaker never let up on his dedication, which paved the way for legendary status. Having said that, thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you got value from what we've provided, why not spread the love by sharing this episode with someone? Subscribe to or follow the show so you never miss an episode, and give us a positive 5-star review or a thumbs up, depending on which platform you're currently on, and share with others. For more stories and lessons, check out some of my other episodes in the series. Thank you for showing up, and be well.